Yeah, Valentine's Day. Yeah, Valentine's Day. Yeah. So it's Valentine's Day. And we're rocking it in the van still, out here in the Blue Mountains in Australia. It's funny, like holidays and like special event days like Valentine's Day, like Christmas. It can be a time of rejoice. It can also be, for a lot of people, a time of sadness, because when you find yourself lonely, those types of holidays and festive type of seasons like Valentine's Day, Christmas, Easter, times when people get together with loved ones. For people that don't have loved ones, it can actually be a time of great sadness, Valentine's Day and Christmas. I spent almost all of my adult life, from a very young age, searching for something, searching for spiritual awakening, searching for the love of my life. I've always been searching for love, searching for a feeling of completeness. I've always been very, very much an outcast. Share this with you today because maybe you can resonate. Always been an outcast. When I was very young, my parents moved around a little bit, and especially in primary school when I was very young, like infant school, we moved around a lot. So I was always kind of the new kid at school. And there were some advantages being the new kid at school. Yeah, sort of people are interested in you when you first turn up. But then you never really get a good friendship group happening. And then I was pretty solid through high school. I went to 2 different high schools. And I did find myself in a very big social group by the end of high school and in my early 20s. But I was actually rejected out of that group that I was in my early 20s. And it was my fault. When I was very young, I used to party too hard. I used to get way too drunk. I used to get way too loose. And it got to a point for the people that I loved at that time in my life that they ended up rejecting me and pushing me out of their group. Basically just through not being invited to things was the initial process of removing me from their social group. Not being invited to certain house parties. Actually, I remember turning up to one of my friend's parties, and it was a daytime party. I can't remember the occasion. It would have been maybe Easter or Christmas. And I turned up to the party with like a bag of beer, and I wasn't allowed into the house. They wouldn't let me into the party, and I'm like, okay. And then a really good friend of mine, his name is Tim. He married a girl that we went to high school with, and I didn't get invited to the wedding. And of course, everyone else got invited to the wedding, but I didn't get invited to the wedding. And when that happened, I realized that I was no longer welcome. So I left. I started to travel. I started to travel around Australia for a little bit, and then I traveled to Thailand eventually. I was traveling a little bit of the world. I thought I was going to move to Mexico, but I ended up finding myself in Thailand on a very small tropical island called Koh Phangan. It's the full moon party island, if anyone has been to Thailand and gone to the full moon party. Now, in my opinion, the full moon party is pretty trashy, and that's not really what attracted me to Thailand. It was just the feeling of freedom. I suppose I've been searching for freedom. Also, I was always searching for a really big group of friends, some really good quality friends. And I had one friend, to be honest. I had one friend. His name was Ryan. And we always stayed really close, like brothers throughout the years, my one friend Ryan. And sometimes that's all you need is one really good friend. But anyway, was traveling around. I did have my one friend Ryan. He stayed here in Australia, and I ended up living in Thailand for 5 years, a little bit more than 5 years. And I started scuba diving. I became a scuba dive instructor. And while I was there in Thailand, I actually had a really, really big, beautiful group of friends. But the unfortunate thing about Thailand and being an expat in Thailand is people that you love and hold very close to your heart, they come and go. Everyone had a different life plan. Some people stayed in Thailand for 2 years, some people for 7, some people for 3. Some people that I really had a close connection with were only there on holidays for a short period of time. So even though we had like a nice group of friends that I would have considered family, people came and go too often, or they came and went too often. And so basically when I hit my early 30s, it felt like, even for me, it was time to leave. A lot of the people that I considered family and friends in Thailand on Koh Phangan, they had already left. A few are still there, very few, but we all kind of left and went our separate ways back to our own countries, you know what I mean? South America, England, Australia. And so I came back to Australia and I bought a house very quickly. I was very lucky to have certain qualifications that gave me quite a high paying job, and I was able to save money and buy a house very quickly. And when I bought the house, I renovated it. I renovated the whole house. It took me 5 years to renovate this house, and built like a very small flat out of the garage, and that's where I lived. I lived in the garage flat and I rented out the main house. And during this time of renovating my house, I had a girlfriend. Her name was Sally, and Sally ended up with my friend Ryan, and then they're still together now, I believe, Sally and Ryan. And because of that situation, I ended up losing my one friend that I had left after being rejected from like my social group that I grew up with or hung out with a lot in my formative years, my early 20s, where we go to the pub, go to the club, go out drinking, go out partying, skateboarding. And then I lost my best friend, my friend that I felt like he was a brother, my friend Ryan, because Ryan and Sally got together. And so I lost 2 people in that stage. I didn't just lose my girlfriend, I lost my best friend as well. And then I ended up having another girlfriend called Nicole. And I was silly for some reason, because I was still on this search. You know what I mean? I was still searching for something, thinking that there was greener grass on the other side. The grass isn't always greener on the other side. And that's something I've learned now. Like this constant search through traveling, search through relationships, search through girls. I was always searching for something, and I wasn't even really aware of what I was searching for. Freedom, I think. A form of freedom. I was always very cautious with not having children. Very cautious with not having children, even to the point where some of the girls that I was with got impregnated, but they ended up getting rid of the baby. So I don't have any children. And my whole life searching for something. Then when I broke up with Nicole, my most recent girlfriend, I was standing in my kitchen one day at this house that I'd renovated. I was standing in my kitchen and I was asking the universe for help, for advice. I never got an answer to that question, and I still haven't. And that question that I was asking, it's no longer relevant to me anymore. But at the time, it was very relevant. I was asking the universe a question, and instead of getting an answer to that question, I was thrust into what I can only explain as the present moment. The present moment came upon me, where not that I'd forgiven myself for my past mistakes or anything. It was more of a complete detachment from my past. And in that moment, in those moments, it lasted for a few days. I felt like I was in bliss, present moment, like I was washing my dishes in this kitchen and I was just enjoying every single moment of washing the dishes. And then about a few months later, the pleasant moment kind of slipped away. And then a few months later, I ended up trying to help out this elderly lady. And I found myself in the present moment again. And the second time I found myself fully immersed in the present moment, I almost had a breakdown. There was a form of breakdown with my spiritual awakening, or my awakening to the realization that there is a state of consciousness higher than this everyday consciousness that I had existed in my entire life up until that point. Because I found myself in it, I wouldn't call it a higher state of consciousness, but a different state of consciousness, like more blissful. That feeling of freedom was upon me. Completely in the present moment, being able to turn up for the present moment, absorb myself in the present moment. And a lot of it was, I believe, was because of detachment. So around the time when I found the second moment, the present time, I found a YouTube video from Brother Phap Dung, who is a monk or a brother in Plum Village. And he had a really good, it's about an hour talk on detachment. And even though I found myself in the present moment and feeling blissful, it was in that moment that I realized that I had lost everybody. Everybody that I had ever loved, I'd lost them. And they're gone. And they're gone forever. These relationships, maybe hopefully in some future, or in the next present moment, in some other present moment, they might come back into my life. But currently, right now, I've lost everyone. And when I finished renovating that house, I rented it out and I jumped in my van. And I've been traveling around in my van for the last 4 months, trying to rediscover myself, or trying to find a better version of myself. I'm so thankful that I did put myself on this journey, because days like Valentine's Day, like today, they would have been very hard. And right now is hard to be completely alone on a day where you kind of want to have at least a loved one. People that are traveling around in their van with their girlfriend, like girlfriend-boyfriend couple, that must be so great. Hopefully people don't argue all the time when those types of situations, because that must be a lot of fun. I wish that I had something like that, of course. And anyway, when I found the present moment and realized that I'd lost everyone, everything that I was running away from, I realized that was what I wanted. So everything in my life, all this serendipity, traveling around, searching for something, one day I just found it in my kitchen. And it was with me the whole time. I didn't have to push people away. I didn't have to get drunk and lose all my friends. I didn't have to do any of that. It was always with me. It is always with us. We just need to find it within ourselves. It's not out there. It's not on the other side of the world. I didn't find it on the other side of the world. Maybe some people do when they travel. They find themselves spiritually. But for me, I just happened to find myself in the kitchen one day, standing in my kitchen. And I might be rambling a little bit, but yeah, what I realized is that everything that I was always running away from, everything that I was always pushing away, is everything I've always wanted. So after I found the present moment and realized I pushed it all away, now I realize that's what I want. I want a soulmate, a girlfriend, a wife, a partner, a life partner. I want a family. I want children. I really crave companionship. It's so important to have friends for our health, for our longevity of our life. And that scares me a little bit, to be honest, because I have nobody. Like, I can joke about it a little bit, but like, really, I have like absolutely nobody. And you've got to be careful of like parents and family, because the family that you grew up with as a child, because they don't understand me. They don't understand these types of concepts. They don't believe in me. That's why I say it's so important to believe in yourself, because nobody else does. So Valentine's Day can be hard for people. And I will admit that today I felt really off, like super off. Like just feeling regretful a little bit. Maybe regretful is not the right word. I have so much understanding now that I realize that all the things I did in my past, all of my past that has led me up until this moment, feeling a little bit homeless, feeling lonely, in a van. And some people love van life. There is a lot of advantages to it, but it hasn't seemed to have clicked with me, because I like a big desk with a big office space. I like to read. I like to read. I haven't read as much as I probably should, but I like a big space. I play guitar, I play a few musical instruments, so I like to have those things around. I ride motorcycles, so I have a motorcycle, but it's in storage. You know what I mean? Having a house, having a space where you can have your things and feel comfortable in a space. That's why I haven't fully clicked with van life. So I'll be moving back home in a few weeks. I've unfortunately had to remove one of my tenants. I gave them notice a little while ago, because I knew that I was going to be coming back to the Blue Mountains, coming back to Sydney to work, because I need to get a job. But yeah, just be careful of that. If you are watching this and it's Valentine's Day and you've got loved ones, love your loved ones. Don't let them go, because I did. Like, I've had a few girls in my life where I probably should have spent the rest of my life with them, and I let them go. And it was my fault. Everything's my fault. It's always your own fault. I didn't have the clarity of mind that I have now at that stage in my life. So all of this has brought me up into this point where I'm lonely. I've got no friends, like none. Got no girl, no family, and currently I do have a house, and I am going to be moving back home. But right now, in this present moment, I'm still in the van, and like, it was my fault that I got myself into this position. But also, I trust in the timing of my life. I really do believe if I had this revelation, that I had this experience of a different consciousness that was with me the whole time, I do believe if I had that younger, I would have been able to save a lot of those relationships. But I didn't. So I do trust in the timing of my life that I came to this point where I had that revelation, and I feel so grateful for that. I feel grateful for everything. I feel grateful to have had that revelation, to have had that, to have found something inside myself that makes me know for a fact that there is a greater sense of consciousness that we can work towards, that we can achieve within ourselves. And for me, it's always fleeting. It's always fleeting. To be honest, all day I haven't experienced the present moment. Even sitting in nature, what I did most of the day today was just sitting, observing the view. I felt myself reminiscing about the past and realizing all the great people, all the people that I still love, but they don't have time or love for me anymore. And it was because of me. It's because I pushed them away. So if you do have loved ones, hold on to them. Realize what you've got. I didn't realize what I had in the past. And now that I've lost everyone, I realize I had everything, but I pushed it all away. So now it's going on this journey of this body, mind and soul journey. was for me, and maybe people that can resonate with finding themselves lonely in life, or realizing that they've potentially made mistakes in their life. We're supposed to learn from those mistakes, and there is something better within us, all of us. We're all connected to something greater. And I'm so grateful that I had that experience, and I have it every now and again. And so what this is about. So many things, body, mind, and soul. It's what we are. It's what makes us up. So I'm so grateful that I've started this journey, so I can start to realize a better life, realize a better me. We don't attract what we want, we attract who we are. So we have to be that person. You know what I mean? We have to, especially with relationships, like, find people in relationships. What I did in relationships, I was always critical. I should have been more critical on myself and thought, what am I bringing to the table? I should have been the better person, because if I was the better person, I would have had that reflected back at me, but I wasn't. So that's what this path is, body, mind, and soul, is to try to realize a better version within ourselves and get the universe and the relationships that we experience from this present moment forward to reflect back the person that you are. So you need to, change starts from within. I'm so grateful that I understand this stuff now. I didn't understand this in the past. I see old men and old couples. I say men because I'm a man, I can relate more to that situation, but old couples, males and females, and they haven't realized that. And I saw this couple in the car park a few months ago now, and they were well into their 80s, and they were bickering and fighting, and the man stormed off to the car, and I could see his wife in tow. And they both looked like they were experienced a lot of suffering. So they've gone their entire life to never experience that and understand how precious companionship is. I'm grateful that I've been able to understand how precious having a life partner, a companion is. Even though I don't have one, I'm so grateful for that I can understand that, and now in the future, in my future relationships, that I can be present for them and I can understand that. So Valentine's Day. Life's not supposed to be easy, man. Sometimes life's gonna be hard, and kind of embrace that. Don't force it. Like, it's okay to be a little bit lonely and a little bit sad. We don't want to force things in life. I know Alan Watts, who's a really good spiritual teacher, he really advocates for that. And I know a lot of gurus and spiritual teachers really advocate for that, is allow it to be. Allow that moment to be. This time will pass. That emotion will pass. That feeling will pass. A better day will come. And don't force it away. Don't think I need to force this situation away and find myself in a better situation, or just go and distract yourself because you're feeling a little bit sad. It's okay to feel that. We're here to feel these emotions, and don't force it away. So I'm not trying to have like a pity party or anything, which I've seen in one of the comments. I just thought, man, I'm real. I'm a real person. We're all just real people. Everybody, all of us on this entire planet, we're all just real people. You know what I mean? With our insecurities, with our confidence levels, we're all real people. So Valentine's Day can be a little bit hard sometimes, these festive seasons, when you are someone who is currently alone. I know that there will be a Valentine's Day in the future where I'm sort of full of love with a partner. I know a lot of the law of attraction speaks of acting as if you already have everything you have ever desired, and live in that emotion and feeling. Now, I do feel gratitude, and if you are lonely, know it's not forever. Have gratitude for what you have in this moment. Fresh air, life, just gratitude for life. Gratitude for, you can be so simple, gratitude, just waking up your eyes in the morning, you can be grateful for that. So I do have a lot of gratitude in my heart. And It's okay to feel a bit shit sometimes. Don't try to force it away. Allow yourself to feel that. Just allow it to happen. And it'll pass. And you may learn something from it. You might learn something about yourself. Why do I feel like that? What is it that my life craves? Why do I feel incomplete? And once you can start to identify those things identify the things that are making you feel that way, then you can start your search for those types of things. Then you can start to become that person that allows those types of things to come into your life. So, hey, it's all right, man. It's all right if you feel a bit down sometimes, especially on Valentine's Day when you're a bit lonely. Hey, it's all right, man. And man, like and subscribe to the channel, Gypsy Soldier, because mate, we're allowing things to come into our life. They're like the experience of life. If there's anything I could ever teach anyone, it's to have gratitude just for the experience of life. Just start to have gratitude for it. Allow that perceived bad situation to come in. Allow it to come in. Know that your soul is growing from it. Know that somewhere there is a lesson in everything we experience, our whole life experience. We don't really have to do anything in life. It's not really about what we do. It's about how we do it. That's why the present moment I've realized is so important. So we just want to turn up. Doesn't matter what your job is. You can just turn up the best that you can, and you can find joy in everything. And to be honest, I am finding joy in my current situation, which is perceivably not very good. But you can find joy and laughter in it. And it's the bad times that are going to make the good times so good. So embrace those bad times. Embrace those sad times. Let it come. If you need to cry, man, cry it out. And especially after a big cry, I don't feel like crying, but if you do, and I know I have in the past, you always feel so much better when you sort of can cry it out. But I do feel good. Hey, feel a bit lonely. Would love to attract my soulmate or love into my life. Companionship, friendship. But you can be my friends, guys. You can be my best friends at the moment. So we're all in this together. That's another thing I realized when I had my awakening, is that we are all in this together, like all of humanity. There's not really a great deal of separation. It's only perceived separation. We are all in this together, all of us. Everybody on the whole planet, we're all in this together. And it's all about love and support. You know what I mean? Love and support your fellow man and lift them up. And by lifting other people up, we can lift up ourselves as well. So much love, guys. Hey, happy Valentine's Day. And I'll see you tomorrow.